Welcome back to episode 113 of the Purple Rain podcast, the Devin Duvernay episode. And, it's not a normal episode because we got 3 boxes, all right? And when it's 3 boxes, that means, it's that lucky 3 good luck charm, all right? So first and foremost, you got me and Sutton, but below us, you may, if you listen to the radio in Baltimore, you may know this guy, all right? Whether it's WBAL or 98 Rock, the Bobby Baltimore, the Bobby Trosset. I am so happy to have you on. Thank you very much. Our first time meeting face to face, actually. So this is pretty exciting. So let the people know where they can find you at first and foremost.
Yes.
Yeah, Alex, Sutton, appreciate you guys for having me and the Purple Rain audience. I'm fired up to see you guys virtually or whatever and connect with you guys. But just you can find me, my ats right there, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just launched a YouTube channel just a few months back and really trying to just churn out as much content as possible, even in sort of the dead of off season, even though, the Orioles would have something to say about that. So yeah, just looking forward to chopping it up with you guys, talking Ravens. And I'm no stranger to your thing here. I watched PQ the other day and I thought you guys put together a nice little one-on-one with him. So thanks for returning the favor and having me on.
Yeah, man, sure. Absolutely. Appreciate you for coming on the show. This episode, like my guy Alex said, 113 of the Purple Rain podcast. You guys know how we do here. We got to get the housekeeping stuff out of the way before we get into any Ravens sports talk, all of that good stuff. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast, just like you see down there below. You can follow this guy on Twitter or Instagram, simply as 10 on Twitter, and on Instagram at simply as 10.prod. And myself, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram just at Sutton Def, like you see down below. Real quick, more housekeeping things. Make sure you guys go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the content that you're ready to consume. We'd appreciate that. It helps us out a lot. And also, another thing I wanted to touch on, we just opened up, well, not quite, but we just opened up the who wanted to be in the Rain Gang Instagram group chat. We kind of opened up the not, I don't want to say the running, but like the tally for that. I guess I'll just say the tally. The word's not coming to me right now. But I'm starting it up soon, and everybody who liked the Instagram story post from earlier today will be added to it, so we can talk Ravens football, other NFL teams, other sports, whatever you guys want to talk about. We will be having our own Instagram group chat. Yes, featuring yours truly and Simply As 10. So make sure you guys come through to that. But yeah. Another thing you guys know that we do here on the Purple Rain podcast, we bring everybody up who is in the live chat. Yes. The entire Rain Gang is in here in full effect tonight. Let's go ahead and start with Mod K-Dog. What's going on, man? Says, yo, what's good, Rain Gang family? Appreciate you for coming through. Dylan Paul coming through the house says, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing? Pretty good, my man. Appreciate you for coming through.
Love it.
Black Daniels in the house says, Rain Gang. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Also giving a nod to our guy, Bobby. Yes, sir. We appreciate you again for coming on. Dre says, what's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, Dre?
Yo.
Appreciate you for coming through, popping out. I see J Prime 235 in the house. What's going on, man? Our guy Hoodie Ramey says, the collab we did not know we needed. What's going on, Ramey? Appreciate you for stopping by. Yeah, it's here. It's here. Yolanda is in the house. Says, good evening, PRP family. Good evening, Yolanda. Thank you for showing up here to this episode 113 of the Purple Rain podcast. Daquan Christian says, what's up, Rain Gang? Sutton and Alex. One Session 27 is in the house. Says, what's up, Rain Gang? I see Puddin' Pop is in here. Says, Sutton, Alex, and Bobby Trosset. What's up, guys? What's going on, bro? Appreciate you for coming through.
What's going on?
You guys always know if you're not here watching live right now, that's okay. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang, we thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you leave your comments down below, because you can't comment live, obviously, but comment down below all your questions, comments, concerns about anything that we discuss here in this video. Okay, that felt like a lot to get out just now. So let's go ahead and get into what we all came here for. Let's get into some Baltimore Ravens talk on this fine Monday evening. We have a couple of things to get into, guys. We got a couple of things to get into. And now I think this is kind of going to be the inaugural eventful weekend for sure. This is going to be the kind of inaugural kind of segment of the what I like to call the Purple Rain Report, as I'm going to bring up right here on the screen for you guys. The Purple Rain Report is basically just going to be a rundown of current news, whether it be Ravens related, super hot NFL topics. We're going to cover it all here, so we're kind of a little bit more organized with the show, because the show is normally like 45 minutes to an hour long. We want people to be able to kind of break it up into what they want to watch, what they want to consume. Makes sense, right? Fun for everybody. So The Purple Rain Report. And again, shout out to our guy Bobby Trossett for joining us this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Cannot wait to hear the insight he's going to give us today. First things first, you guys can see the title of the video. I'm sure you guys can all read. You guys are all here. Rashod Bateman earlier today was in an interview with Marlon Humphrey on Studio 44, the podcast that is produced through the Ravens media production team, which I think is really, really cool. Let me just say that. I think it's really, really cool that Marlon Humphrey is doing that. But Rashod Bateman was his latest guest on the show today, and they talked about quite a few things. Now, in this slide here, there was a video that was supposed to play. A little bit of technical difficulties, probably not going to play, but it's okay. It's okay, because we're going to talk about the just basically the quote, some of the main points that we touched on.
Yes.
Were you going to say, Alex? I feel like you were going to say something.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. So, our guy, Rashod Bateman, I'm going to go ahead and start with this. Marlon Humphrey, he asked him about draft night. And he asked him about, the moments where he found out that Hollywood Brown was getting traded from the team. And then the team proceeded to not draft another wide receiver for the remainder of the draft, at least not until the undrafted free agents came along. He was asked, hey, what was your feeling about that? What was kind of going through your head? And Rashod Bateman, in so many words, he basically said, hey, look, I love the guy being Hollywood Brown, but this is my time. The Baltimore Ravens, they drafted me for a reason. They know why I'm here. And just those words alone, end quote, by the way, end quote. Just those words alone, we can start here. I just love the fact that Rashod Bateman, unlike a lot of wide receivers that Baltimore has drafted, Rashod Bateman understands the assignment seemingly. When he said that, the Ravens, they brought him here for a reason, and that reason is to be a wide receiver one. That's what he was implying the whole time, given that answer in the interview. But that was kind of my takeaway from it. I want to get my guy Bobby Trossett's takeaway from it, and then Alex as well. So Bobby, what was your whole takeaway from this interview?
I mean, Rashod has this unassuming confidence, this unassuming, quiet self-confidence to him that I think the Ravens have loved since day one. And I certainly enjoy it. I know you guys probably do. I think the fan base does as well. And, it's hard to truly evaluate his first year because of how it started, how it began, the setback, the groin injury, and the inability to be on the field for the first quarter of the season. So to me, I don't know if he's capable. I'm sorry. He is capable of being a number one wide receiver on any given NFL team. But here in Baltimore, in year 2 of what hopefully is a long, healthy career, I don't know. I don't know if it's too early to set those expectations for Rashod. But like I said, my biggest takeaway from that video with Marlon is he knows who he is. He's comfortable in his own skin. He's certainly comfortable with his own abilities, his God-given abilities. He's a silky smooth route runner. He's a reliable pass catcher. His speed, north to south, laterally, super impressive, obviously. But again, I don't know if it's too soon to put these expectations, these labels on him in year 2.
I love it. What I see is he oozes confidence. I don't think we've had a receiver that oozed that much confidence in a while. I mean, this guy said he is the best receiver in his draft class. Who was before him? We're talking Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Heisman Trophy winner Devonta Smith, the same Jamar Chase that everybody was just gushing over his first year, how he changed the whole Bengals. Like that right there is, you can't teach that. That confidence isn't taught. That's just instilled in him. And I think we'll see more and more of it this season. It gets me really excited just seeing what he's going to do this year, because I think 1,000 yards is guaranteed at this point. 100%. But
the beautiful thing too, Alex, is that, I agree with you on that whole confidence thing, right? But it is, like I said, it's a unassuming. It's not arrogance. There's obviously there's a big difference between arrogance, Joe Burrow's interview, and I like Joe a lot. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a generational quarterback. But let's not pull any punches here. That Full Send podcast interview, the snippet where he was talking about putting up 40 or whatever, which he did against the Ravens. He blew them out both times. We know that. But that came across, that little snippet came across to me as very arrogant, very nose in the air. And I know he's a competitor. I know he's got a chip on his shoulder. And I know he's destined for greatness. And Cincinnati is thrilled to have him, as it should be. But to me, there's a huge difference between that type of arrogance and the unassuming, under-the-radar self-confidence that Rashod has demonstrated throughout his year here.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Rashod, too. He opted out of 2020, and he came back.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there, I think, says enough. And the whole "a lot to a little" comment, Rashod's not saying that. He's letting his work on the field speak, and he's been through, the uphill battle that we saw last year, and we haven't seen him with the offense, the number one offense at all. We don't even know what his potential is because we didn't see him on the field with two healthy running backs. We saw him with guys in 2017 who were the thing. So just stuff like that, it's very promising for this offense, thankfully.
Tell you what,
an upward
guys,
projection.
I tell you what, you know who's definitely regretting a comment aimed at Joe Burrow is the former DC. I don't think Wink's probably he's probably wondering why he kind of threw some what do you say, salt in the wound there before Burrow's game. Man, he came into Baltimore, and I can't remember if it was the Baltimore or Cincinnati game, but or if it was in Cincinnati or here, but he torched him, absolutely torched him.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah. Just kind of looking at some of the things that we see here in the chat from the Rain Gang. I see my guy Thea Pencil the Fourth says, "Do we still need a wide receiver one?" I think this is kind of a question worth asking today, because to me, my stance on it kind of changed after watching that video, that interview with Marlon Humphrey and Rashod Bateman this morning. I was personally on the train, hey, we need to go out, maybe pick up like a Julio Jones, nothing more, nothing less. A Julio Jones I thought would be perfect for us. Shout out to Alex. He just did the jersey swap this morning. But I thought that would be perfect. But at the same time, though, after watching this interview, I have all the confidence in the world that Rashod Bateman is going to bring us everything that we need to that wide receiving core. Leadership. That's one thing. That's the biggest thing. He talked about it in the interview himself. He said, hey, look, I want to be the guy to lead these guys. He said that in so many words, but he said he understands. Like I said, he understands his assignment. He has to lead that wide receiving core, and it starts with him. And he even said he hit up guys like James Prochet. For advice on how to lead the wide receiving room, which is another thing as well. I mean, could we see James Prochet get a bigger role in this year's offense? Could he have a breakout season? There's a lot to kind of unpack here with this. So to kind of answer my guy Thea Pinsal's question, do we still need a wide receiver one? In my opinion, no. I think we have our guy. We just have not seen the proof in the pudding just yet. We kind of saw a preview of it last year. He was hurt for a good amount of the season, but when he came in, the guy looked promising, and the guy looked like he had that dog in him, fighting for extra yards. It wasn't, stuff after the whistle, over arrogant stuff like that, but fighting for extra yards, getting downfield, loved it, So that was just kind of what I was thinking about that. But yeah,
you say there's a lot to unpack, and I think this is the perfect time to unpack it now. Sure. Talking about a wide receiver too, I mean, or one. I don't think we do. I think Julio isn't a one anymore. I've said it before. If we were to sign him, pitch count, he's going to be hurt. Yeah. If you ask me what we're going to do, I 1,000,000% think we're going to stick with what we got. I wouldn't be surprised now when you make a mid-season signing, like an Odell if he's there. But I don't think we need one because I don't think this offense tailors to more than 2 or 3 receivers.
That's interesting. And Bobby, I want to kind of get your take on that. Alex was telling me last week that he wouldn't mind bringing in like an Odell Beckham Jr., like, some midpoint through the season, something like that, just to have him ready to produce in the postseason. What do you think about that?
OBJ or just that type of wide receiver?
I'm feeling like OBJ is going to be like one of the only types of, that receiver who's going to get us over the hump, So let's just talk OBJ.
Ooh. Well, what I do know is that, currently they are lacking that true X, right? That guy who's just going to overwhelm you, going to consistently win you 50-50 balls, going to dominate the red zone, going to command a double team, right? They don't have that guy. Now, Mark Andrews may fall under that category, but he's a tight end. And so, yes, he is Lamar's far and away top target. We know that. But to me, for the sense of this conversation, I think he needs to be put aside. That's no disrespect. He's a bona fide top 2, top 3, maybe even top tight end in the league after last year. But for the purpose of this conversation, he's a tight end. We're talking wide receiver. So they are lacking that guy. Can Rashod be that guy? I did some dimension height weight type of comparisons recently with Anquan Bolden and Rashod Bateman.
Interesting.
And it's, you know, what's interesting? What's really interesting about it is that they're relatively similar body types. And of course, I'm talking about Anquan during his playing days. And you wouldn't necessarily think that, right? You don't look at Rashod as that type of guy. At least I don't. Maybe I haven't watched enough tape of him to really make that comparison. But if he can become an Anquan Bolden type, and Mark Andrews continues to do what Mark does, which is just the will and the determination and the skill and the unrelenting way that he plays the game of football, just an uncanny style.
Yeah.
Then to me, that's along with a potent rushing attack they hope is, knock on wood here, they hope is going to come back to 2019, 2020 form this fall. Then to me, you know, you're never going to be at your 2019 form because that was historic. But shit, if you can get to a quarter, 3/4 of that, a certain percentage of what you were offensively in 2019, that to me is a win. You're going to put your defense in a lot of great scenarios to win football games this year, you know?
Yeah. Love that as well. Let's go ahead and get to our first super chat donation of the night, coming in from our guy Rob Jack. Thank you so much for making it rain here on episode 113 of the Purple Rain podcast. Says Bateman is the new Keenan Allen. Ooh, what do you guys think about that comp?
I've seen them before. It's under a couple of my videos. Definitely comments of that. I mean, definitely something you can look at.
Yeah.
You know, one thing, I barely even answered the OBJ question just because I don't think he's the best fit ever in Baltimore is what I should say. I wasn't shying away from it. I just kind of came to what came to mind first was what I said. But I can see that comp a little bit, and I'm seeing some folks talking up Devin Duvernay as they should in the comment section because, you know, here's a guy who, to me, I think we could probably all agree, worthy of a promotion, man. I mean, this dude has done everything right since getting to the NFL, and obviously last year he emerged as a Pro Bowl caliber return specialist. I think he's extremely valuable in that regard, and he beat out James Prochet in that category last training camp. I remember being out at one winning drive last summer and watching those two guys battle and for that position, for that role. So to me, is he capable of being an every week bona fide number 2 wide receiver? I'm not sure. But all I know is that every time I see him, which is typically a small sample size in the last couple of years in this Greg Roman-led offense, I'm left wanting more. You guys in that boat?
I think just a play that sticks in my head is that week 2 Chiefs scoop touchdown, the instincts, right place, right time, and then the touchdowns he scored receiving, absolutely doing his defender, getting wide open against the Lions. Oh, the one-handed catch against the Vikings.
I was there for that.
I'll even go back to 2020 where it was a Steelers game. We need a big play. He just finds the open spot. Something we really haven't been able to say about receivers is finding just that green area. Found it, took it for like 30 yards. I am definitely on that boat of I want more of number 13 in my life.
So, I mean, this kind of brings up an interesting topic. So is Devin Duvernay like our solidified wide receiver 2?
Ooh.
I think just to make sure. Go ahead, Al.
I think right now you have to say yes. And I see people talking about Tylan Wallace as well, but we just didn't see enough of him last year. We saw 2 receptions, and those 2 receptions was a great catch and amazing fight for yards after the catch, unfortunately. And I've said it before.
Go ahead, Al. Sorry.
Yeah, I said it before. It's like he reminded me of James Prochet year 1. Like you saw that catch, like wow, like imagine we had that more, and we didn't see it again. And he played great on special teams. You would think that would just earn him more snaps, but it didn't.
Man, donations are coming in, gentlemen. Woo.
Yes, we have another super chat donation. This one coming from Balti Raven, making it rain for sure here on episode 113 of PRP. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys like the video. Like it for Balti Raven, man. We appreciate him. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new and you're enjoying the content so far. And make sure you head over to our guy at Bobby Trossette's channel and check out his channel. It's in the description below. So all you got to do is scroll down, click the link, subscribe. That's all you got to do. But yeah.
Even Ron, by the way, Ron saying Duvernay starts over Prochet. Obviously, I think that, the track record and resumes speak for itself at this point. But I'd like to see Prochet used in the slot a lot more this upcoming year. He's the first one in, last one out. He wants it badly.
Yeah.
Didn't come from a huge school, wasn't highly recruited, wasn't highly touted. And I think, if you're looking for a guy who can take that leap on this team, Prochet certainly would be up there. I don't want to say like Duvernay can't fall in that category for me, right? Because he's already been used as in a number of different roles. But if you're looking for that guy who can really emerge, I think to me, Prochet is a candidate if Greg Roman can find ways to use him. Like I said, in the slot is probably where I would like to see him used a little bit more. Then I think we're working with something.
Love it.
I like it too. Alex, quick. Duvernay, Prochet, Wallace. You got to start one, cut one, bench one. Go.
Bro, I can't do this. You can't.
No, you can do it. You can do it. Go ahead and do it.
You're making me take my heart out of this. Oh man.
Okay.
Well, you got to start Duvernay number one.
Okay.
And you know what? Unfortunately, I'm gonna do Wallace bench and then cut Prochet, and that really hurts me. It does, because I'm just thinking of Wallace, what you saw from him, college, but you saw the same thing from Prochet in college too. You really saw the same thing, but I'm gonna go Wallace just for the yak after. That's my pick.
Okay.
It hurts to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of get behind that. Let's see. Dylan Paul here says start Tylan Wallace, bench Prochet, cut Duvernay. Wow. Ooh. Flipping the script on you. Yeah, man, I think you got to give Tylan Wallace more burn, man. The guy is just way too physical. If anybody's got that dog in him, he's got it. He's an overall, just all-around great football player. They use him a lot on special teams, and like I said last week on the Purple Rain podcast, man, there's no reason why to this point he should have more tackles than targets. It just doesn't make sense. The guy deserves his opportunity. He just does. So I don't know in what capacity I'm making this list, but I'm keeping Tylan Wallace. That's all I know. I was high on him coming out of the draft. I'm still high on him now. So yeah. Let's see. Everybody, listen to my guy Don C. Don C's in the house, man. You guys got to listen to the Don, man. He says everyone hit that like.
The Don. That's the new nickname. He's the Don.
That's the new nickname. Yeah. Shout out to Don C, man. Another one of the Purple Rain pioneers, always coming through, always showing love, always supporting. But yeah. Guys, we've touched on wide receiver quite a bit. Let's go ahead and move right along to this bit of news. So the Ravens today signed defensive lineman Brent Urban, coming back to the Ravens, actually drafted him back in 2016, I believe it was. And in 2018, he went and played for the Cowboys and then the Bears, or Bears then Cowboys, I want to say. And now he's back with the Ravens. 31 years old, 6'7", over 300 pounds. I'm not going to miss any words, guys. What's your take on it? Bobby, go.
Well, I mean, obviously from a specialist team standpoint, that's probably what folks remember him most fondly for. And, the height is much like Calais, that both those guys use it to their advantage. In terms of the defensive line, to me, this is a depth piece. At the same time, we don't know what Derek Wolfe's future is, not only as a Raven, but in the NFL. It certainly seems like a retirement is being mulled. I know he had an exchange with Jonas Schaefer, who covers the Ravens for the Baltimore Sun, on Twitter this offseason, kind of putting him, I don't want to say in his place, because Jonas was in his right to share the story and tweet that he did. But I think Derek took offense to it because he maybe put words in his mouth. I don't know exactly how that shook out. All I know is that Jonas's journalism is top notch. So between the hip and the back issue last year, and being on the other side of 30 and having been in the NFL for a long time, I question how much is left. I love Derek. One of my fondest memories of him in a Ravens uniform is, maybe that's true, Yolanda, but I think, if he can somehow get himself back physically to 2020. Do you remember him going head to head with Derrick Henry? I mean, that dude, he was the only one on the defense that had an answer for Derrick Henry in those games against Tennessee. Yeah. And if that Derek Wolfe can somehow be resurrected for the 2022 season, but to Tanya's point, it is risky. And that's why I love the insurance move that is bringing in an experienced vet like Brent.
Yeah. And before I say something, I just want to say, K-Dog says, miss listening to Bobby Baltimore on the radio in the AM. Great to see you doing your thing. Love to see that. Love to see that.
Thank you. Got to give some love to, hold on, let's see here. What did I see? Kimberly's calling you guys out. Come on, get her up here. Get Kimberly up there.
We're not
skipping. Why you see my comments. We're not skipping you, Kimberly. We're not. Keep putting your comments down there. We'll definitely bring you up for sure. But yeah, go ahead, Alex.
So to touch on Brent Urban, 100% agree with Bobby. Definitely depth, but I mean, I'm just thinking about the swatting of balls. I mean, just nonstop. Him and Calais, you got to throw at these insane arm angles. I posted my Brent Urban highlights, just a career, and he had tons of just pass deflections nonstop. And somebody even mentioned, the way quarterbacks have to throw the ball now is kind of because of players like him and just getting their arms up. You can throw it as fast as you want to, but if it hits that arm and deflects, who knows what's going to happen to it. Yeah. And then just one more thing too. I think he was like a year or two ago one of the top 3 graded run defenders in the league too. You got to look at who's in this division: Chubb, Hunt, Najee, Mixon. Not bad to have that type of depth on your team.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. I see my guys from Lunch Break Hot Taker in the building. Says, "What's up, Rain Gang?" Big shout out to them. Just recently reached 1,000 subscribers on their channel. Congratulations to them. Big props to them. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out their content as well. They cover all things NFL, UFC. I think they talk about some NBA stuff as well here and there. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out their channel. Shout out to you guys, man. Yes. But yeah, just kind of my take on the whole Brent Urban thing. I think it's good depth. Like our guy Bobby said, it's good depth. It's insurance. I feel like we have younger guys at the position, but if last year told us anything, it's you can never have too much insurance, too much depth at these sort of positions of importance, especially in the trenches. You cannot have enough depth in the trenches. Like if teams had 10 extra roster spots, I can guarantee you at least maybe 3 to 4 of those spots are going to go towards something in the trenches, somewhere in the trenches in some capacity. So yeah, I mean, I like it for that reason. Vet minimum deal doesn't cost as much at all. But my favorite thing about it is the fact that the guy is 6'7". Like my guy Alex said, man, throw him in against like field goal attempts and things like that. Him and Calais Campbell, you talk about a Twin Towers, baby. Like that is going to be, that's going to be tough. I love it. I love it all the way. I want to see what you guys are saying here. My guy Black Daniels chiming in and says, naturally, it's a depth move. Right player, right price. Trying to stack up before we get into the thick of it. We won't say the I word, the word Alex hates so much.
I hate that word. I despise that word so much. Hits me in every sport. I hate that word.
Yeah. Raven Ron saying here says, we got to get those young guys a chance. Release Wolf. This is a faster, stronger league. Release them.
It's funny because we kind of can move us on to our next topic about a faster, stronger league. Give the young guns a chance.
Yeah.
Speaking of a young gun in the defensive backfield, one Kyle Hamilton drafted number 14 overall.
Yeah.
We might be seeing a fellow Raven head out the door.
We might. And that can go ahead and segue us right into this. Talking about Chuck Clark, guys. Chuck Clark, we really don't know what his future is as a Baltimore Raven or a lack thereof. We just don't know yet. But we do know that the Ravens this offseason went out and got a top 10 safety in the league in free agency. And they also went out and got the best safety in the NFL draft. So they have really good pieces there now. And Chuck Million, how much is he making a year right now? Was it like $5-6 million his cap hit or something like that?
I'm not too sure on that.
I want to say, I think it's somewhere around there. Don't quote me on it. If anybody wants to do some Purple Rain research on that, they can. Feel free. Let me know. Correct me. But I really like the fact that I'm not gonna say I really like it. I don't like the fact that Chuck Clark is on his way out because I feel like he's done a lot of good things for this team. I mean, you can look at that Rams game, the Super Bowl champion Rams. He had that pick 6.
By the way. Just south of 5.
South of 5? Okay, got you. Yeah, I mean, so kind of cutting him and then not cutting, but moving him in some way, shape, or form, and then utilizing guys like Brandon Stevens or Darius Washington, a lot cheaper talent and younger guys. I feel like that's just the way to go. Am I right or am I wrong? Let me know.
Well, here's the.
Oh, go ahead.
You want it, Al?
Take it.
Well, just real quick, before we get into it, Bobby, we do have another super chat donation. This one coming from Yolanda. Thank you so much. absolutely making it rain here. Says, I'll be sad to see Chuck Clark leave. Yeah, I think we all will. He's kind of like the heart of the defense, or at least a piece of the heart of the defense, a big piece. And, it would be sad to see him go. But go ahead, Bobby.
Well, I'm with Yolanda, right? I mean, this is conflicting because Chuck is a homegrown Raven. He is a former 6th-round pick out of Virginia Tech. And if you go into NFL history and find the 6th-round picks who actually earned a second contract in the league, it's a very small percentage. And I think that speaks to Chuck's resilience and abilities, obviously, but the development portion of it too. And the Ravens obviously deserve some credit in that as well. But based on Jeff Zaribik's findings, as always, doing great work as one of the lead reporters here in town, it certainly seems like, Chuck's not only not going to be present at these OTAs and moving forward if it gets all the way to training camp, but his time in Baltimore is likely over. And I can't necessarily blame him for being a no-show. It was probably tough to see his replacement drafted on night number 1, and it's been probably pretty tricky to hear him or probably see all the tweets and see his name everywhere as trade bait. Now it's a part of the NFL, right? Do you feel bad for a millionaire? Okay, no, but you get what I'm getting at here. So to me, EDC is shopping him hard based on these reports, and we'll see what the return is. But to Yolanda's point, this is a captain of the defense. This is somebody who has really risen from a 6th-round pick to a starter in the NFL, and I think he should be commended for that. At the same time, when you take a look at the roster and you take a look at the way that this secondary was bolstered in the offseason with the splash signing of Marcus Williams and also going to get after what some feel, is the best player in the entire draft, maybe defensive player, at least secondary player in Kyle Hamilton. Unfortunately, there may not be any room for Chuck anymore.
Yeah.
Very well put. Very well put. Hard to follow that. But just to piggyback off that too, I think for me is who's going to wear the green dot on this defense now. It's not Wink anymore. It's now Mike McDonald. But yeah, thank you, Marcel. Who is going to wear it? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And just to kind of just give him a thanks. I mean, 6th-round pick, didn't start his first year. He stepped in when Tony Jefferson tore his ACL. Him and Earl Thomas, great safety pairing. They did their job. Kind of sad to see him go, but you completely understand it. And no hate towards the guy. I'm rooting for him wherever he goes.
Yeah. So Kyle was wearing it in one of the sessions recently.
Yeah, the rookie session.
This is the rookie sessions. So that tells me that, I don't know, maybe the favorite would be Marcus, but who knows?
They might be grooming Kyle. Who knows?
Or who knows? Maybe they love him enough to give him that duty right out of the gate, man.
That'd be insane.
I had a chance to interview his father on schedule release night, and you talk about confidence. You talk about.
I saw the quote. I saw that quote. That was.
Yeah. Let me pull up that quote just so I get it right. Let's see here, because he did not mince his words about his son's abilities, and I was almost like,
I loved it. I loved it.
You guys get it, right? You do a bunch of interviewing. It's the type of thing where you got the pad of paper in front of you and you mark the time stamp because of what he said. Here it is right here. He said he's talking about his son, of course. He says he takes Sean Taylor's athleticism, Ed Reed's film study, Tyrann Matthews' instincts, Derwin James' range. I think if he reaches his potential, those things are in reach. Now, obviously, okay, let's take off the rose-colored glasses. It's a father talking about his son.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we read all the analyst takes. We watched some of the film on Kyle at Notre Dame. We saw some of the projections, some of the comparisons. And so who am I to criticize a father who's gassing up his son like some folks decided to do when I put that online? But what are you going to do?
I mean, I love it. Like, once again, it was in confidence. I mean, 2 of the greatest safeties of all time and 2 of the top safeties in the league right now.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, but just like when you think about like all those players that you just said, like put together, if you fuse them all into one, like take the best qualities out of each one and put them all together, that is insane. Like that's insane amount of confidence in his son, which of course is, it's his son, but if he can even live up to half of that, I would be 100% satisfied,
Exactly.
But let me go ahead and get to this super chat donation right here from my guy Dapper Dons. Dapper Dons, man. Thank you so much.
Another Don.
You got a loyal
another
audience,
Don.
man. This is what's up. This is what's up.
Man. We appreciate you guys. Over about 100 people watching live right now. Make sure you guys go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you're enjoying the content. Dapper Don says, what would be a good trade value for Chuck Clark? Before we answer this, I was on Twitter earlier today, and I was on Jeff Zarebek's Twitter. I was looking at some of the things he was saying about the Chuck Clark trades, the rumors, things like that. And he was basically saying, Jeff Zarebek, that is, he was saying that like he would be surprised if we even got like a 4th rounder for Chuck Clark. What do you guys think the potential trade value for Chuck Clark should be or would be?
Go ahead, Al.
I mean, 4th to 5th, I think. I think you have a guy who's on the final year of his contract, a guy who is disgruntled, doesn't want to be here. It's kind of hard to get anything of real value out of that. But, we love our 4th round picks. So I definitely think it's probably a 4th or a 5th we'll get. Day 2 pick for sure. Day 2, day 3. No, day 3. Sorry, day 3 pick.
So last time, the tweet that sort of started all this was May 6th.
Got
And
the receipts out.
I got it right here. He said, this emoji, which I don't know, I'm sure it's like shit. You don't mind if I swear on here, do you?
No.
This emoji can go one or two ways. It can go up. It can go down. Either way, I'm prepared. So, yeah, he's disgruntled. But to say, well, maybe he doesn't want to be there. I don't know. When you said that, Al, I was kind of like, does he not want to be here? But then I started thinking to myself, yeah, well, maybe he doesn't because he's looking at the writing on the wall with their additions that they made, and he feels slighted by that. Nonetheless, I think it's probably a 5th. Who knows? I think a 4th obviously would be best case scenario. But, nonetheless, this is the business side of football, right? Bottom line is this is sometimes for a good guy, a family man, somebody who has built his life post-college, post-Virginia Tech here in Baltimore. This is the tricky side of the game that sometimes you don't think about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever happens with Chuck Clark, of course, us as the Rain Gang, Ravens fans, we wish him nothing but the best because, he's definitely given us some good moments. And go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, and Don, he actually brought up a great point, how Wink will snatch him up. That, honestly, I think that's the perfect fit. They've already gotten Justin Ellis. They signed Jihad Ward, signed Maurice Kennedy, signed Khalil Dorsey. That's 4 former Ravens. Wink's already gotten back. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a 5th with Chuck Clark. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me either. We're going to go ahead and segue into kind of the last topic that we have on tap for this episode's Purple Rain Report. And it was actually about a linebacker that the Ravens signed this morning, Navy linebacker Diego FAGOT. I didn't really know much about this guy at all, like anything. But I was on my guy Bobby's Twitter, when I realized he was coming on the show today. I was just trying to see, some of the things he was talking about recently about Ravens and stuff like that. And he posted a video, if I'm not mistaken, of a certain play from Diego FAGOT, his time at Navy, and it was a really hard hit on a quarterback, very nasty hit.
Thumper.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how much you know about Diego FAGOT, but Bobby, what can you tell us about this guy? How do you feel about the signing?
Yeah, so those of you who were familiar with my work during my time in radio, that at BAL, Navy football can be heard on their airwaves throughout the fall. So I had a chance to cover a little bit of Navy and get to know Diego a little bit throughout the last few years. Dude, this guy, man, he is like Bucky said in that clip. It was from the Shrine Bowl, I believe, the hit that I shared on my Twitter, but he called him an old school thumper. Well, I'll call him a first-class human being too, because he just received, obviously he's serving our country at the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, but he received essentially permission from the Treasury Department to continue his career at the next level in football. And I just love that. Love it so much. And I love it for a number of reasons, because the fact he's not your typical college football player. He's not just playing football. He's literally serving his country at all points throughout the year. And so obviously from a character standpoint, let's before we get to the on the field stuff, the Ravens are getting a first class human being who is a phenomenal person. So anyway, that's that. But I think, from a special team standpoint, he could be a great addition. And who knows? You get him in that linebacker room, you see what he's all about. He's got great vision, pretty quick for his size, hard hitter. Who knows? Who knows? Get him in the room. Get him in the room. Challenge the other linebackers. Even if he brings competitive fire to training camp and doesn't make the 53, and it's a great addition. And it's gravy if he does make the roster. I don't know what to expect specifically at the NFL level for him. But what I do know is I loved what I saw at the collegiate level, and I'm rooting for this dude. You guys are too. He's easy to root for.
Okay.
I love that. I think where he could make it is definitely special teams. We just saw Chris Board leave us in the free agency, who was our special teams captain, I say, behind Anthony Levine, who also retired. So if he can make his mark on special teams, who knows what happens?
Good point.
Because Christian Welch, he got some snaps on defense after Harbaugh said, he was showing up in special teams, and we will reward you. So rooting for him in the preseason. That's why I love preseason. Like when we had the 1 year where there was no preseason, I hated it because you don't get to see the undrafted guys, the late round picks ball out. Right. Now we can with him.
Yeah. Definitely excited to see what he can bring to the squad, whether it be, like you said, if it's just a camp body, if it's just somebody for insurance to back up, for injury, whatever it is, we're hoping that this guy can contribute to the squad. What were you gonna say, Alex? What's going on?
Can you bring up a Dietz comment for me real quick?
Yeah.
Would you say Diego is the guy that you would approve dating your metaphorical or literal sister, but also the guy you would hate seeing in the alley?
That's a good way to put it, right?
Honestly, having gotten to know him personally, he is like the most unassuming, like charming. I'm comfortable saying that. Charming. He's like a good-looking dude, very soft-spoken. And then go to the Twitter. I mean, you just referenced it a little while ago. Sutton, the play he made in the Shrine Bowl. I mean, goodness gracious, this dude, he's an old school thumper, as Bucky said.
Yeah. Excited to see what he can bring to the squad. Seems like a hard worker, shows up for the rookie mini camp as a kind of like a tryout type player and really just kind of impresses the coaches. And when you look at that, now he's signed by the Baltimore Ravens. So I think what he did at that tryout could be, very indicative of why they decided to bring him in. But yeah, excited to see what he has to offer. We're going to go ahead and segue from that. That was the last that we had from our Purple Rain report, kind of like our first inaugural Purple Rain report, which is pretty cool. But here we are again. You can see our beautiful faces in the big screen. Now, let's go ahead and get to our last segment of the episode, which is our Rain Gang Questions segment, where you can ask me, Sutton Def, my guy up there, Simply as 10, and my guy up here as well, at Bobby Trussett. You can ask us any question that you like, whether it be about Ravens football, whether it be about other NFL teams, whether it be about other sports, anything, literally anything. This is the time to do it. Go ahead and get your comments down below. While you guys are going ahead and doing that, real quick, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. But go ahead, Alex.
And yes, and check out this guy, his YouTube too. I was gonna ask Bobby a question. He was actually I'm talking baseball real quick. We rarely talk baseball on here, but you were at the game on Saturday.
Where you're going with this? I think I know where you're going.
I was there on Friday. I saw the walk off. Stayed all 13 innings. Loved it. I wanted to go so bad Saturday to see the debut of Adley Rutschman. How was it? How was just the energy at Camden Yards?
Well, those of you who maybe have been following this drama play out on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is, I don't know why folks are so upset about what I said. I mean, it's like I committed a crime or something. But I basically said, and this has nothing to do with the timeline of Adley's call-up, right? Obviously, he was ready. The Orioles were ready. Awesome. To me, I was a little disturbed by the way they promoted the call-up. Hear me out. It's Preakness Saturday in Baltimore, right? And if you're not, I don't care if you're into horse racing or not, that's important for this city. To try and compete against it is very difficult, if not impossible in this town. By the way, when you're in the middle of an ongoing rebuild. So to me, I thought they got what they deserved. There were 17,000 people in there.
Yeah.
It was, aside from Adley's at-bats and the warm welcome that he received at the top, it was a snooze fest. Now, I love Camden Yards. I love that place. It's one of the best ballparks, if not the best ballpark experience in the entire league. But I was left wanting more, just to use a phrase I said earlier on. And so at the same time, the product on the field, specifically to Adley individually, dude, this dude's a star and he knows it. But again, he's not arrogant. It's not up in your face. He is an old soul who's out there, hopefully showing you that he's going to be a generational type of catcher. He's got a great eye at the plate. He's got great rapport with his pitching staff. He just got up there. I mean, some of the guys he knows from obviously AAA and AA and you name it. But sky's the limit for this dude. And I think, Baltimore finally has something to be excited about. I'm not saying that the rebuild is over by any stretch of the imagination. It's time to get Grayson up and Colton and all these dudes that are waiting in the wings, right? But finally, at least, you want to watch these games, right? I'm curious to see if it'll impact attendance at all. My hunch is that it will not after the initial excitement kind of wears off. And I'm assuming that the Orioles will start to slide, come the summer months here. They are overperforming right now based on a lot of the preseason expectations, but that's kind of my long-winded answer on my night at the ballpark.
Nah, great point, because I was there on Friday. I thought Friday was the day. It was a giveaway game. It was Friday. Have them come out in the beautiful black jerseys at Camden Yards, but no. Yeah. Wait until Preakness Saturday, which, like I said, no sense. Even for younger people, they have the infield fest for them. So, you're not going to get all the young people either.
Yo, by the way, I watched Chainsmokers live for the first time in the infield.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan. I had some whiskey flowing, nice. So maybe that was skewing my opinion a little bit, but it was a pretty good time. I did not stick around long enough for Marshmallow. I had to sneak out of there to get to the ballpark. It was a packed itinerary. But that whiskey was flowing, and I was barely even tipsy because it was 150 degrees out there, and I was drenched. I was absolutely drenched,
man.
But then one last thing too, they gave fans 11 hours notice. 11 hours notice. And so I get it. It's wedding and graduation season, and folks would have had those events scheduled that they couldn't gotten out of anyway even if they did have more than 11 hours notice. But what about the people that are outside of Maryland, right? There's a lot of Orioles fans throughout
Norfolk.
the DMV, whether it be Norfolk, whether it be Virginia, Delaware has a bunch of folks, and I just thought to myself, Pennsylvania, the southern tip, I thought to myself, how many of those people weren't able to figure out their plans because they weren't given time in advance. So that's all. It wasn't meant to be a hot take. And you guys probably aren't even aware of what's going on. After you finish this up, go to my Facebook page.
See, no, I saw it.
Sections, bro.
I saw it. I saw it. I agree with you.
I gotta watch my back when I'm walking back to my place tonight.
All right, let's see. We do have a couple questions here flowing in from the Rain Gang. Thank you guys so much. Justin Roberts kicking it off here says, "Who's watching the Tank Davis fight on the 28th? I believe that's this Saturday. I'll probably check it out. Always Baltimore native Gervonta Tank Davis going out there and putting his belt on the line again. I got him winning for sure, but I'll probably tune into the fight. Yeah,
100%. Definitely.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yolanda chiming in says, "Are we going to get a veteran wide receiver before the start of the season? If so, who will it be?" I mean, Eric DeCosta said himself, we're going to make more moves. We're not done. When asked about the wide receiver position, these were the type of things he was saying. So, what do you guys think about that?
Well, there's obviously we've mentioned some of the guys that were remaining on the market, whether it's Julio, OBJ, Fuller, whatever. To me, the greater need is assuming that some of these pieces, these offensive pieces, come back to somewhat of their previous form. To me, the bigger need is edge rusher depth, cornerback, as we saw last year. So while I would like to see, obviously the Sam Cook retirement freed up about, I think it was just north of $1 million in cap space. I would guess that they're probably going to bring back Justin Houston on a short-term, 1-year team friendly vet type of deal. I'm not saying he's a needle mover at this point in his career, but I think all three of us watched a lot of football last year, and we can probably all agree that Justin, while he didn't get home to the quarterback
pressures
enough, the pressures were there, the relentlessness was there, the motor was still there. I think he's got some left in the tank. So I think that would probably make sense, and especially from a familiarity standpoint.
Yeah. Real quick, let's touch on this one. Bateman over 900 yards, yes or no?
Easily.
Over under?
He has to. I mean, he has
I'm saying over. Yeah, I agree with that too. I can agree with that too.
If it's under, that's the problem.
Jonathan Washington Jr. has a question for Bobby. He says, Bobby, do you think John Harbaugh's extension means that he is safe even if Ravens underachieve with a healthy roster? I'm amongst those dissatisfied with the job he's done with this tree since the Super Bowl year, with this team since the Super Bowl. I don't know.
My first thought would be, Jonathan, how much does this have to do with his decisions in the red zone last year down the stretch? I would just wonder, is it a fair thing to say? Are you a little bit still sour? Are you salty about what happened last year when you're questioning his decisions? I mean, who knows? And that's fair. If you are, that's totally fair. But I would certainly take the stance that job security for John Harbaugh is the last thing that anybody's worried about in that building. I really do believe that. The rapport that he has with Lamar Jackson, that relationship that they have is crucial. They have built around not only Greg Roman's offensive scheme, but Lamar as a playmaker. And so I think that nucleus has to stay intact, and they want to see this through. And we know that in Ravens history, there's only been a few head coaches. So all those things considered, I think, one, he's earned that type of latitude, that type of equity. And two, I don't think Steve Bisciotti would make a change at this point. They want to see this through, and I think he deserves that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
What do you think, Alex? I know how you feel about Harbaugh.
I think he is. I mean, I actually wasn't his biggest fan until like last year, actually, and then I've been on the train since.
Late bloomer, bro.
yeah, late bloomer. But I mean, I'm cool with it. I definitely am more against the person calling the plays on offense. That's just me. I actually wasn't even like the Wink out train. I actually liked Wink, but
yeah,
that's how it goes.
It's what it is.
We'll see who, Mr. Next Man Up here. Mike McDonald's supposed to be one of the young, bright defensive minds in the NFL. Yeah. And I love look, while David Ojabo is obviously high risk, high reward, he was supposed to be there at 14 before the Achilles. So they could have gotten him at 14. Matter of fact, Eric DaCosta basically admitted post-draft that if it weren't for the Achilles, they were targeting him. Now, whether that was because of his abilities or Mike McDonald's relationship with him, I don't know. But what I do know, though, is this dude McDonald is polished. He is bright. I'm not sure he's going to be as aggressive as one Wink Martindale, but I think he's got a chance to really kind of be a staple here in Baltimore, and undoubtedly he will be a head coach. I'm not sure it's going to be a Baltimore, but he will be a head coach at some point.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I got Alex.
I'm back.
There we go. We good? Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. So let's see. I did see another comment in here. It was coming from my guy Rob Jack, who waited ever so patiently. He said, I made it to the end. LOL. I need you guys' opinion on if a Kadarius Toney trade makes any sense at all. Feel like we can get him for cheap, but is he worth it? I don't like it. I'm not into it. I'm not into it either. Like, I'm not into another smaller receiver, especially one that has off the field issues, who's probably not going to be getting the type of production that he wants. It kind of sounds like a recipe for disaster, honestly. So no, I don't think any of us are really on board with it. But Alex, what are your thoughts?
We'll have to give up too much to even get him at that point. Like, Chuck Clark it's not going to be a player for a player trade. It's going to be Chuck Clark and a pick for him. So no.
Yeah.
To quote Buck Showalter, they like their guys, and I think they're going to ride with them. If they want to try and bring in one of the remaining free agents, that's probably more likely than making a blockbuster type of deal, giving up draft capital for future rounds. They don't do that. They just don't. And we saw why. We were reminded why, obviously, last month, right? They love their mid-round picks, and so they'd have to give up some of those, and I don't think they're willing to do it.
Yeah. Let's see. Lisa Frankel chiming in, another person who's just always coming through, always supporting. Says, does Bobby have a favorite Ravens player?
Ooh.
Yeah, I do. You know, I'm not, since I'm not from here, I gotta be honest, I'm not from here, right? So everybody always asks me when you run into people wherever, online, in person, whatever, they always ask, like, you know, what's your loyalty? What's your sports loyalty from a fandom standpoint? And I honestly hit them straight. Like, I'm an upstate New York boy at heart. So while I did grow up all New York sports across the board, the day that I got into this business, right, which is a lot different right now. And to go back to Don's question from earlier on, he was asking me if I'm solely doing YouTube. The answer is it's one of many ventures that I'm sort of building right now in my new media company, Trosset Media. So I'm looking forward to, you know, that being one branch of hopefully a number of different platforms and avenues, which hopefully will include a podcast by the end of summer. Tease. We got some stuff coming up. So, you know, there's I just dropped a little nugget for you there. But to get back to Lisa's question, or to finish my tangent there, the day that I got into this business as a broadcaster, I stripped all my loyalty. What's the one thing that Joe Buck has been most criticized for in his career, guys? Not a moment, but like just the style. What would you guess is the most criticized that you've seen?
Just for me, I know it's like just how he doesn't get excited. Just very monotone.
Okay. Sutton?
Can't really put my finger on it right now.
Bias. Everybody always think he is the most. I think it's the most unwarranted bullshit, pardon my French. Because he is one of the most the way he transitions from game to game, especially in October when he's doing NFL, Major League Baseball. Now he won't be doing that anymore, obviously, because of his contract with ESPN. Probably loves that. His life's probably insane. But to me, I wanted to get rid of that. I wanted to not go down that road of ever being called a homer, ever being called. I'm going on a major tangent right now, so let me just get back to it.
Go for it.
Let me get back to Lisa's question. So, with all that said, I try not to do the favorites, but one of my favorite guys that I've gotten to know personally, has become somewhat of a friend, is Pat Ricard, and the reason why I love him is because of his story. We talk about resiliency when it comes to Chuck Clark. We're talking about an undrafted fullback out of Maine. You guys ever watch Maine, the University of, no disrespect to the Black Bears, but you guys ever watched University of Maine football?
Never.
No, I haven't.
Right. And I haven't either. But I watched until Pat came into the fold and I started watching the film. So for him, another undrafted rookie who the Ravens have groomed, he's earned a second deal in the NFL. When he came in, I remember talking to him in 2019. It was my first year in local radio. He told me that he barely even had time. He only had about 5 minutes to talk to me for a little interview in between practices because he was running from position group meeting to position group meeting. He was in the D-line room. Then he was on special teams with Chris Horton. Next thing you know, he was in the fullback room. This dude is so incredibly talented. He's a gamer. Obviously, he's a bruiser. I think he may be, along with Nick Boyle pre-injury, the most underrated, important piece to this offense. I really do believe that. When he was down last year, because he was up and down injury-wise, that offense was a shell of itself. So, number 42 got my love. He deserves your love out there listening. If you're not already on the Project Pat, Pancake Pat, Pro Bowl Pat, Bus, whatever it is, that's my guy. Thank you, Lisa.
It's funny you bring him up. I met him at a Towson football game last year. He was there. Had the honor to meet him, so I definitely can see that. What a great guy.
I love it. That's the great, right? He and Marlon go out to the local games. Like, you don't get that in a market like New York or L.A., right? Like, that's what I love about Baltimore. I saw John Harbaugh and I worked out spontaneously at a group workout class earlier this year. Like, it's insane. So I really love that. Marlon just moved down into my neighborhood here.
I saw him at the Oriole game on Friday.
I saw you tweet about it. You got a little dap tap, huh?
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, but you know what I'm getting at, though. You're not going to get that in many markets, and I think that's why I've really embraced Baltimore over the years. It's pun intended. It's very charming, and the small market feel, even though it is a relatively big city, is something that it's easy to lean into. It's easy to root for, and I think guys like Pat Ricard make it that much better.
Yeah, love that answer. Good insight on Project Pat, Pancake Pat, whatever Pat you want to call him, Pat Ricard. Big shout out to him.
You guys, like at this
What's
point, Project Pat is almost like disrespectful. I was thinking that the other day.
Yeah.
Like anybody that calls this dude a project, what are we doing? And I had to stop myself from doing it. Yeah, exactly. Pro Bowl Pat. I had to stop myself the other day. Like I was like, shit, no, he's not a project anymore. Like this dude's a bona fide fullback, starting fullback.
Yeah, he's definitely a baller. For sure. Let's take 2 more quick ones here. Balti Raven says, do you think Lamar can spread the ball and hit 7 different receivers in one game, tight ends, wide receivers, and running backs? I'm going to say yes because I've seen him do it before. Spread the ball out all over the field. He's multiple times. So, yeah, I think that's a resounding yes from all of us, no? Yeah. So, last one we'll take. This one's from Dylan Paul. About Alex. Says, Alex, what are you majoring at Towson?
Communications. Graduate in the fall.
Okay. That's what I like to hear.
Congrats, brother. And let me shout you out real quick, too, because you put together a nice little saucy, silky, filthy, whatever adjective you want to use, little intro for me. And I appreciate it. Your video skills are off the charts. And I know that Sutton and I are going to be singing your praises the day that you get hired by either a local university or a professional team. It's definitely going to happen. You got major skills in that department. And we're rooting for you in that regard, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Means a lot.
Major skills, major talent, major work ethic too. I mean, you look at this guy's YouTube channel, videos are going up almost every day about any and everything.
Man, I'm chasing that sub number. I'm getting my ass beat.
You know what I mean?
Man,
so, yeah, man. Big shout out to our guy Simply AS10. Just kind of rounding it all out here. Said Justin Roberts here says PRP, hit the like button for the gang. That's right, hit the like button, you guys. Also subscribe if you enjoyed tonight's episode. But I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it there for episode 113 of the Purple Rain podcast. Again, we just want to give a huge shout out to our guy Bobby Trussett. Make sure you guys go ahead and check him out on all platforms. On YouTube, you can find him in the description below. Click that link. On all socials, you can find him at the handle that he has on screen right there. But Bobby, again, thank you so much for coming out to the Purple Rain podcast.
Alex looks like Mahomes. That cracks me up right there.
I know you don't. Man, I'm at work. I've gotten at work. I get it at work all the time. I've been getting it ever since we did this podcast. I get it all the time.
That's funny as shit. I can't unsee it.
I get it all the time.
All right, really appreciate you having me on. Love what you're doing with the channel, and I know that I'll return the favor eventually for sure on the other side. So let's do it.
We'll be in contact, Bobby, for sure. One more question. Are you going to the soccer game at the bank this summer, by any chance?
Well, I've been following how fired up you are about it, and I can't fancy myself a massive soccer fan, but if you're looking for a partner, I'd be happy to pop over there. One of my favorite memories. Oh, you're ready to go? Okay. One of my favorite memories, and we'll wrap up after this. One of my favorite memories from studying abroad in Madrid, Spain in 2015 was taking a personal tour of Santiago Bernabeu, downtown Madrid. It was awesome. And so what's the date of it again?
It's July 17th. I'm already going. But if you're there, you gotta let me know. You let me know.
Let's talk. Let's talk.
Let me know. And the Bernabeu, the most iconic. I don't care about the Camp Nou in Barcelona. The most iconic for the best football club in the world, Real Madrid. Living my dream. Love that.
Awesome. All right, let's put it on the calendar, fellas.
Okay. Yeah. One more thing we're going to keep on the calendar. Kimberly says she's got a birthday coming up June 9th.
Hey.
Part of the Rain Gang, Purple Rain Pioneer. We're going to keep that in the memory bank. Big shout out to you, Kimberly. Always coming through, always supporting each and every time. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yolanda says, great to see you on the show, Bobby. Black Daniel says, thanks for hanging with the gang, Bobby. Tanya Bowman says, great video. Thanks, Bobby Trussett, man. We are very, very appreciative. The Rain Gang is very, very appreciative of you coming through. So once again, thank you, man, and hope to have you back on the show.
Goes both ways, guys. Appreciate you. Talk soon.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, there you have it. Yeah.
I think this probably is up there with my favorite episodes, I think. I think the insight that we had, minus my technical difficulties, I am sorry for that, had a very good conversation about everything and anything. And just hearing his own personal experiences from somebody who's in the media, love to hear that. So definitely, this is probably one of my top 2-3 shows we ever had.
Yeah, this is a really, really good show. Again, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Like Justin Roberts says right here, hit the like button for my guys. Yeah, it's been a fabulous episode. We are going to catch you guys in the next one. With that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
And as always, thank you for coming through episode 113 of the Purple Rain podcast. And I gotta say it again. Yeah, the Duvernay podcast, the show. You got to go and follow, like, subscribe to Bobby on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
All that good stuff.
Day you hear something comes out that day. So go ahead and go to him. And then as always, thank you for coming through. And don't forget, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever, ever, ever forget to call God. This has been episode 113 of the Purple Rain podcast.